oh my god, I love your shirt.
Oh, you look
girl
so
to girl?
cute.
Yeah, oh my god, you're out there. You know,
Where'd you get that?
Yeah.
oh my god, you fine, bitch.
Welcome back to a episode of Careful Boys that will have a lot of good energy. This was a very simple question that someone asked, and I thought it was very sweet. All they wanted to know is, how do I make friends?
Oh god.
And I thought that was very like wholesome and honest.
Man, if it's been this long and you still ain't got...
Just give up. Maybe it's on the cards for you, pal.
There's like AI bots you can talk to nowadays.
And they're way better than people, trust me.
Yeah, they'll respond immediately.
I chat with ChatGPT every day.
I wonder what like state or what area these people are messaging from, because I feel like that does have a lot to do with it.
You know what's one thing that I thought was pretty interesting too is like this one dude, he was some Asian guy from like somewhere in the Midwest. Oof. And he was talking about how like spoiled California Asians are, that there's just Asians everywhere.
Yeah.
And he was like, everywhere I go, he's like, I'm the only Asian, like I can't make that connection culturally with anybody. His whole life, like it's he's always having to cross-culturally like meet people.
What's wrong with that?
Like,
But I feel like you do have to, because you know, like me growing up, I didn't really have that many Asian friends, so I had to do that shit all the time. You
I
know?
think you just got to be a special kind of guy to really like not everybody's that savvy with like chopping it up, you
That's
know?
true,
Like if
that's
you're a
true.
little bit more of like a reserved or shy guy, it's going to be tougher.
You know what's interesting about me, I guess, but maybe not that interesting.
I power lift. I have a truck.
I get
No,
bench
it's,
press 425.
You sound like you're going to give some stupid.
I think it's harder and harder to make friends now.
I think so too, yeah.
Before,
You mean the older you get, or you mean this generation?
No, the older I get. So when I'm like 20 or whatever, I'm like, oh, cool, this guy's cool, I had all his friends, whatever. And then now, I feel like I'll meet people, and then like, I'm like, okay, that's nice. That's cool. It's like, it takes a lot for me to go, oh, you know what, maybe I should let this person in my trust circle.
Yeah.
You know, my trust circle doesn't really open up as much.
Yeah, right.
Because you're satisfied with what you have, though.
That's
probably.
true.
Maybe. Yeah. But when I'm in my 20s, all it takes is like, Nick is like, hey, yo, Bart, this guy's tight with me. And I'm like, then you're tight with me.
You're my brother.
Is that how you guys met?
Pretty much. And then you just,
I will die for you.
and then you have like this giant group of friends, you know? But then now it's like, people be like, this tight with me. And I'm like, I don't know if you made the best life choices. So.
Yeah, it's on you, bro.
I'm like, that's up to you.
I also
Yeah.
think as you get older, though, you have less time to be like meeting other people or spending time and investing in other people. You're too busy.
Yeah.
The emotional investment part.
Emotional
Yeah.
investment, yeah.
Also keep in mind, we're competing with online friends. Like I have over 100 online friends that I balance.
Me too. I got 100 online friends too. Probably more. I got more probably.
Since I'm a Twitch streamer as a living, like so much of my like friend base is all online. So I have to like actually make a conscious effort to go hang out with friends outside of the internet.
But isn't that kind of cool though? Like if you go to their state somehow and you're like, hey, let's link up, let's kick it. That's great.
I'm saying it's like socialization's changed. I would say more so. Like people have friends, they're just not the way they used to
So
necessarily.
if this lonely person is asking, they don't got online and real life friends, man, give up, dude.
I'll say that. I think that should always be option number 2. But option number 1 is, I feel like growing up for me, it was always hard for me to make friends. Like I would have friends, but sometimes you'd be like, maybe this is just a me thing. I'd always be like, I don't really like trust you that much, you know, like, and I kind of like I like you, but like I don't like you all the time. So like for me, it was always hard finding like my right group of friends. And it took me until I was like 20 to be like, I actually really like these dudes. Oh wow. You know, or like this person. Because the whole time you're kind of trying it out, I think. Yeah. So sometimes it is like there's acquaintances, but there's a different level when you actually like make like a good friend. So I do feel like they kind of have to go through some like checks and balances before you could be like, oh, I trust this motherfucker. Like this is a solid dude.
You guys are so deep, because I feel like as a child, my mom goes, you're at the park, and then my mom goes, go to your friends. And I'm like, I don't know these people.
That's very Asian.
Go play with your friends. And then so I go up and I go, hey, My mom says I have to play with you, and they're like, okay, we're playing hide and seek, and we're gonna do this, and I go, okay, and then like you just start playing, and before you know it, you're invited to their birthday party, and you're just fucking chilling, and then like I just think
So it works
growing
that
up,
way as an adult too.
it was so easy to make friends because you're literally just you treating them as your toys when you're a kid. You don't think too deep about like this. I mean, I'm talking about like 3rd grade or whatever, right? You're like other humans are just toys. Cause like I want to be on the monkey bars with you. That's it. And I'm done with you. Now I'm gonna go over here and play tag because they're playing tag.
I guess it is all just playmates because what else you gonna do?
Yeah.
But do you think the person who asked this question was in 3rd grade?
Go back to your.
Hey, you haven't missed the window yet. You're a kid, okay?
But then if you think about each stage, right? So like for different reasons, when you're a teenager, you know, you have cliques, you start developing tribes and stuff.
Right.
It's not so like I remember in elementary, like I just invited the whole class to my birthday. There's people I've never even talked to, but my mom was like, how many people are in your class? Like 30? And then like I just handed out the invite cards to every single one, and then they come to my birthday party.
Yeah.
And then that's how I just made friends. But like, what, teenager, you have crews, or like you're like people that you talk to in class, and then like you start to have these little like groups, right? And I think that's where you're supposed to develop most of it. But as an adult, the thing that I think if you don't have those skills, it's so much harder. Cause like,
Yeah, I think they may not have the skills.
when I moved to Hawaii, even though I might have a mutual, like, I became close to Brownie because he's a mutual friend to you.
Yeah. So by proxy, you can trust.
Yeah, but there are people I met, friends that are cold, but because I didn't grow up with them in the same city and all that, there is a level of, well, we're still dating. And it's a long, like, I've known people now for like 3 years in Hawaii, and I still feel like we're cool, but we're dating.
I can't give it up yet.
No. But like, I feel like people that I've known in high school or college for 3 solid years, we're fucking homies. Because those 3 years, we spent like 6 days a week together.
You're also doing the same stuff with them. Yeah, that makes sense.
But then if you think about all your friends you make in the 20s, they're actually not good. Like, they're not always the best because they don't grow with you. And you lose a lot of them. And then you start changing, and then once you start having families or jobs and things like that, you're like, oh, you were a fucking piece of shit. But the way I chose friendships in my 20s was, did we do a lot of drugs together? Or like, did we party a lot together? Or did we like do this thing together?
Yeah.
But they're actually shitheads.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
I think there are also seasons of life and seasons of friends. So they don't necessarily have to be shitheads either. It's just you outgrow them.
Yeah, that happens.
Yeah. And they get deep into crack and you don't.
Or you just grow into different directions. That's another big thing too.
Yeah.
I think a good way to start, at least for how I start to make friends, is first like common interest helps, and then in the common interest, if we have the same sense of humor.
Oh yeah.
So if I'm like being sarcastic or I say something that's like, I guess the kids would say out of pocket or whatever.
No, that's what we say.
If they
We talk like that.
If they laugh, then I'm like, okay, cool. Or like, you know, we have like similar communication language and we understand the world in a similar way. I can be friends. But if I say like retard and like, oh my god, why would you ever say something like that? Then I'm like, okay, we're definitely not gonna be friends.
Calling the cops on you for saying it. Yeah.
Don't be policing me in my own home, type energy.
I think like I kind of have to think about it a little bit because if I'm gonna be moving to Vegas, I'm gonna drastically know a lot less people than I do here. Or I've lived my whole life.
This guy's not gonna have any problem making friends.
Yeah, it's true.
Oh yeah.
He probably already has friends.
Yeah, he already has tons of friends.
I think I have a good amount, but like I still want to make an effort to like to meet people, like cold meet people, and I think like the first friend so far that I've cold met in Vegas was that guy that like I left a note for him because someone hit his car.
Aww,
Yeah, and then at Tivoli Village.
so nice.
Yeah, and then we're friends now, and he's like the first person I cold know out there that's not connected to like anything.
And guess what? That guy would die for Ryan. He fucking loves Ryan, dude.
No, we're like, and he lives in the same neighborhood that I want to go to. So I'm like,
Wow.
Yeah, so I think like that's also, it's not like I was purposely trying to make a friend, but like I think if you just leave your house and you just do stuff, I think
That's a
it
big one.
naturally happens.
Dude.
Well, if you talk to people too.
If you just like, I think leaving your house is the
Yeah.
first step. Like just, you know, it's not gonna happen to you if you're just waiting for it to come to your doorstep.
Another thing I realized is we're extroverted, right? We know when the door is open. I realize that introverts don't fucking pursue because they don't see. They're like if a girl was like throwing mad signals, they're like the clueless guy that's like, I don't think they like me that much.
That's
And I
understandable.
think that's the difference is like we also don't wait for approval. If you're an extrovert, you just kind of like do it. So that it makes it easier. So I think like for this person,
I'm an introvert, so the weird thing, that I guess position that introverts are in, it'll be like, I hope Tyler asks me to come hang out. And then Tyler goes, hey, you want to come hang out? And I go, no.
That's facts. You're like, thanks for inviting me though.
Oh, but I was like, that's sick. That's sick that he asked me to come hang though.
Next, I'm gonna think of him next time I want to go out. That's what
Yeah,
you do.
yeah.
I'll save that one for later. Tyler's cool. We'll hang. Like
it's like how you gonna deepen that relationship. But if you've noticed, like a lot of extroverts, I kind of see them as the glue of a friendship of introverts because they all were brought together by this extrovert. Or like, like I don't know. But then when you see two introverts going at it, like they take forever to actually become friends.
yeah.
Yeah.
I think people think that friendships are just going to be given to you when it's like a muscle that you have to work out. And if you don't exercise your social muscle, it's going to be really hard to go socialize with people. And
You said
opening up to
you
them.
were having a new experience. You moving to LA and then like.
Oh, so yeah, the
making
way
friends
I made
here?
friends and moved into LA was, I mean, I think the best thing that I did before moving to LA was back in Missouri, joined a dance studio. Even as an adult, didn't even know how to dance joining. Just learned a fun, just kind of open skill that I can do with
Yeah, you meet a ton of people that way.
anybody. And literally that made me hundreds of friends. Like,
Yeah.
Well, dancers are very extroverted.
Yeah.
So
But
you
that
guys
also
agree?
that can apply to any like extracurricular though.
That's a big one though. Join a club.
Go
join a
bouldering.
community.
Yeah.
Jiu-jitsu, martial arts are a huge one.
don't wanna
Gym is
break
like
the
kind of halfway there because gym is kind of like a isolated thing unless you really go with friends.
Yeah, because everyone just puts their headphones on.
Take a fitness class. Go take.
I go to the gym and want to talk to people, but I'm like, no, that'd be weird.
With you coaching, like for as long as you have at the jiu-jitsu gym, have you seen lots of like brand new friendships form?
Yeah. Sometimes if I don't like, if I don't think they're compatible, I'll tell them to stop. I'm like, no. You don't want to talk to that guy. No, but it happens all the time.
How do you observe people like interact where you're like, oh, cool, we're like gonna be friends? Like, what?
Yeah, no, it's crazy to see like strangers being part of your community like 5-6 years down the line. Like, and it happens so many times where it's like some of the best friends you meet are going to be in a place where we beat the shit out of each other, which is kind of a weird, because there's like a weird bond there.
Yeah.
That like you know them on a different level than like if you just were to hang out with them. But like,
Yes, you kind of know where they're at
yeah.
when their life's in danger. So you kind of feel like you really get to know people.
You know their character a little bit, and you see them grow or whatever. But at the same time, it's like,
So beat the shit out of each other. So you're gonna bond.
but no, like some of the best friends I've ever made or the best people I've ever met is through a community like that I would never meet. I would never have access to these people unless it was through, like I wouldn't meet any of you guys if it wasn't through martial arts or anything.
That's true.
You met him through martial arts.
These guys.
Yeah. No. No, I made it.
We do kung fu in my garage, dude.
Well, I used to train one of our closest buddies, David, and then so David was like, oh, you should come train with me and Nick. And we came and trained with Nick, and that's how we met, was through martial arts.
And then what made you think like, oh, Nick should come to JK?
Through like consistently just training with each other and like shooting the shit.
just having
It
fun.
was just hanging out. It was just it. And we
Get
had the
along.
same sense of humor.
I met him here, like literally like this.
And as soon as I met Ryan, I was like, we got along, like, you know, whatever the saying is. I don't know what the saying is.
Make one right now.
Do y'all know how I met
Two
Cam?
peas in a pod.
You make that up?
Oh, I think I just came up with
Fucking stole that.
I mean, this is almost like a hack. Like you get to meet people, and speed get to know them like really well.
Oh, JK is a great way to meet people if you can.
Dude, Tiff she had jury duty, and the whole time we were all anytime somebody has jury duty, we're trying to figure out how to get out of it immediately.
Of course, yeah.
Throw it away.
Yeah.
Exactly. That's one thing. She didn't want to do it. I was like, all right, whatever. So she went, and the judge says that spiel's like, it's a great opportunity to be a juror. You're going to meet some of the best friends of your life. And then everyone's like, yeah, get the fuck out of here.
Friends?
You got me here on a fucking 10 a.m. on a Monday. I should be at work. Anyway, so she leaves, and she like she gets lunch with these two ladies, and they're like, oh, they're really nice. And the next day, they're like, she bought me lunch and we started talking. She's such a sweet lady, and as long as like you're open, you kind of just randomly meet people, and like they exchange numbers, they were talking and shit. I was like, what the fuck, you meeting friends at jury duty? But it's just like wherever you go, you're bound to, as long as you're open to have conversation and be kind of somewhat approachable, have a smile on your face.
Yeah, that's
be kind of open, have body language where you're like, oh.
It's probably like very hard when you are awkward and you like see yourself so hard when you do anything.
Yeah.
Like very extrovert people don't even think about it.
Because I know if I don't want to talk to anybody, I know exactly what I do. I put my headphones on and I just have a very cold face and expression on, and nobody talks to me. Not even people that are like, hey, could you have time to sign a petition? They just like ignore me just because
Greenpeace.
I just look dead straight and I walk through and I'm like, fucking, it works every time.
Everyone kind of knows, right? To go to like a place like a run club or a common interest thing, like a chess club or whatever hobby you're into. Maybe join a club or social group. There's meetup.com. There's a lot of places you can go. I think the people that are asking though, they don't know how to take it to the next step. So like they know how to like interact with other humans and go through the script of, hey, how you doing? Cool. That's awesome. How was your weekend? All right. But when that class ends, they don't know how to, hey, what are you doing after class? They don't know how to, like, what's your whatever. And I actually think that people that have a hard time making friends, it's because they don't know how to go beyond the script of what's appropriate for the surface. So they're like, how do you, it's like dating, right? Like, it's like guys that like, how do you get their like Instagram or whatever and then start chatting with them and then like meeting afterwards? Like those are the next stages I think this person probably wants to know, because like if everyone's in agreement, like let's walk them through the model of common interest, like I don't know, fucking run club, right? And you start jogging there every day. I think what a lot of people do is they fuck up and they blow their load on the first day. So you go to this run club and then you're like, friends, which one here's gonna talk to me?
Yeah.
Or they fucking go every single week and don't talk to nobody. And I think it's the two extremes.
Yeah. I feel like this, like just showing up is part, because when I first started at this gym, I didn't talk to anybody. I didn't know fucking anybody. Everyone's like intimidating. Everyone's like a fighter and shit. But eventually you just keep showing up. People will eventually like include you. They'll talk to you. There's other people that are like naturally where that'll happen. Once again, you just can't be that guy where you're like, hey, you want to hang out? Definitely don't do that.
Yeah, I mean, you being there together is hanging out.
Exactly. So like, I think just like it's a good easy start, just to just be there all the time, show up.
If this person's a girl wanting to meet girls, what would you like say?
I have some advice. I'm just kidding. I'll step in. I got this.
I would say just be nice, have a good conversation, and then I think what makes you a friend versus an acquaintance is showing up for that person and just being there for them, like just being supporting them. I think that's what changes it.
That's nice.
Yeah.
That's true, because acquaint is like you like their presence, or you find them fun, right? But then what changes into the friendship zone is now there's stakes or something involved where you were there for them in a way where you're inconvenienced, but you're there, you're happy to be there, like whatever. Because I think there's a lot of people that confuse like intimacy or like closeness because they just enjoy this person. And I'm like, just because you spent a lot of time and you had fun with a person doesn't mean that you're actually close. And there's a lot of that where like, oh, I thought we were friends, and then they totally didn't show up for me or do that. I'm like, yeah, because your friendship was never tested. You just spent a lot of time joking around and having fun, but it's like you never had bad times with this person.
Yes.
I never showed up for you.
Yeah.
I think an easy way to bridge a gap from you don't know anybody and you want to get to know them and you're like, oh, this person would be cool as a friend, is like when you're starting conversation, just being genuinely curious about who they are as a person. I think that's an easy way whenever you just, because sometimes like you don't know what to like talk about. You're like, what are you going to talk about, the weather, politics, whatever the fuck? So you just ask them about like their life. What
size hat do you wear?
7 3/8. You're like, damn, you got a big head, and then you have a conversation like that.
Well, that's pretty cool.
Is 7 3/8?
You bring up a good point, because I think the same way guys fuck up on a date, like friendless people that fuck up on this,
They talk about themselves too much.
because they're trying to win someone over.
Yeah.
So they're trying to like really sell themselves, and then it's like too much.
And it's the opposite approach.
Why are you talking about yourself so much? I don't give a fuck. Yeah.
When in reality, most people have already made their decision on whether you've been sold, like
Yeah.
before you even open your mouth.
Yeah, that's the same guy that you guys talk to, and then out of nowhere they just start name dropping like a motherfucker.
Oh god.
And they're like, oh, you're that
You're like,
guy.
this dude's sick. I think I want to date this guy. As a friend.
Yeah, if you're genuinely just curious in people, and I do think that's probably the difference of like why it's easy for maybe extroverts to make friends, is because like if you're curious, you just ask 1,000 questions without feeling like you're invasive. But then people like talking about themselves.
Yeah, for sure.
I've gotten that, like, I think we're in Barbell Brigade. Someone came up to me one time and was just like, oh, dude, Bart's crazy. I know Bart.
Someone just came up to you and said that?
Yeah. Some, like, random Mexican guy.
Oh, you got barbell?
Like, his first words was just, like, name dropping right away.
You're like, tired.
Like you don't know him?
Yeah, I didn't say, I was just like, yeah, he's a cool guy.
He is crazy.
I forgot what it was, but that's all he said. And I was like, cool, great way to break the ice. Bart, Kwan, dude. I know that dude.
Tease with what you like on them does generate a lot of conversation.
Yeah, that's true.
Whatever your interest is, wear it to that club one time, and whoever likes Mario as well will see your Mario shirt.
Hey, you know when I see a girl opening move is? You're like, oh my god, I love your shirt. That's a
Oh
girl
yeah.
opening
Oh, you
move.
look
girl
so
to girl?
cute.
Yeah, oh my
Yeah,
god, your
where'd you get
outfit.
that?
Compliments is like,
That is a very.
That's the easy way to get in.
Yeah.
Oh my god, you fine, bitch, like that.